Hi, welcome Behind the Badge. I'm Chief Alan Rodbell with Scottsdale Police Department. With me is, who are you? Chris Vassal, our community liaison. Good to see you, Chris.
Hi, everybody.
Seems like it's been a while since we've done this.
I know, it has. We had a little hiccup in January, but we're back.
That's great.
Because of the demand.
I'm pretty
from
sure
our
it was because
audience.
we were being canceled
Yes,
and they thought
exactly.
some other station bought us. Anyway, lots happened since then,
Yes.
obviously. The Barrett-Jackson, the Open, Arabian Horse Show, all successful, all wonderful events.
Waste Management Open. What was the record day? 230,000 for one day?
Which, if you think about it, that doubles our population.
Unbelievable.
With half of, or our whole population actually, on a piece of property no bigger than a golf course. So when you think about all those moving parts and how well the men and women of Scottsdale Public Safety and the other departments that are involved actually handle that event, and everybody enjoys themselves and it's relatively safe.
We had such a great week that week. Usually sometimes that gets the rain or the cold and everything, but before we get to anything else and introduce our guests, I would like personally to tell you that the star of your show, Chief Rodbell, was honored with the first ever Police Chief of the Year award for the state. So yay! I'll give you the golf clap.
Okay. Thank you.
And you could do the Prince wave, but congratulations! That's
very
awesome.
Kind. I didn't think you're going to do that. I will tell you that this award is really it's wonderful. It's humbling. I'm taken back, and I'm certainly honored by it. But it really is the people in the organization. I mean, you really can't get much accomplished just being at the position I'm in without a lot of great people working with you, behind you, in front of you, leading you, walking beside you. This is really, as far as I'm concerned, this is a department award, and I'm very, very proud of it.
Well, it's great,
thanks.
and it was like out of in the whole state, so I think that's pretty awesome. And was it the first ever
It's
award?
the first time they've done this, which was a surprise.
You're the number one.
Yeah.
So you're the number one twice.
So this is my 15 minutes of fame. Let me soak in it, and then
Awesome.
and then reality will hit tomorrow.
Well,
where it's back to work.
congratulations, and the department is very proud of you.
Thanks.
We thought it's great. So.
And thanks for the great community too. I want to thank the
Yes,
community because this is a great
absolutely.
place to be a police chief.
So now we can go on to the show.
Oh, okay, I'm done. See, already that didn't last long at all, did it? Anyway, let's move on. Absolutely. Why don't you introduce our guest?
Well, I would like to introduce Officer O'Mara. He is the school resource officer of the Scottsdale Police Department, sergeants, and he is in charge of the school resource officers, and we say SROs. So if you hear them say SROs, that's what SRO means. They're school resource officers. And so, Sarge, will you introduce the two SROs with you and tell us a little bit about yourself and how long you've been on the PD?
Sure. So first I'd like to introduce, I've got Officer Brian Hartman. He's currently assigned to the Tonalea K-8 campus. And I got Officer Nate Herbert, who is assigned to the Desert Mountain High School campus up in North Scottsdale. And so I've had the,
Thank you.
guys, thank you for being here today. So I've been here with the Scottsdale Police Department for nearly 20 years. And during my tenure, I've been on different assignments, including the bike units, the old Parks Reserve units.
I've seen you in a few places in the department I've been around.
But I've been assigned to the Scottsdale School Resource Unit for the last 6 months. And it's been a very rewarding assignment, one of the better ones I've had in my career, and have a great opportunity not only to work with some outstanding officers, but the school administration as well.
Right.
And it's been a great partnership that we've been able to establish over the years.
Great.
Now, just a little bit about the SRO program, because we have several different school systems in Scottsdale. So a lot of viewers might be used to going to a system where there's a county system and there's a county school system that matches the county government system. But here we have 3 different school systems within our city. Only 2 of them have SROs assigned: Cave Creek School System and Scottsdale Unified School District. And so we'll probably want to talk a little bit about that because our viewership could be anywhere in the city.
And then wonder why they don't have a school resource officer.
Right. So if you want to talk about that briefly, about how we're assigned schools and how we operate and how we deal with the 2 different districts, that'd be great.
Yeah, so our primary focus is, of course, is the Scottsdale Unified School District, where I've got 9 officers that are assigned to those schools. And what we ensure is that we've got an officer in each of the high schools, and we have an officer in each of the middle schools, and then we have shared responsibility for all the elementary schools. To help supplement our presence in the schools, we also have a program called the School Liaison Officer Program, in which we train our patrol officers to go into the elementary schools to help supplement our presence there as well. I've got 1 officer with the Cave Creek School District that's assigned up to the high school up there. And his position is unique in that his position is funded through a special grant program through the state of Arizona. And so he's up there under that grant program. So while he still falls under within my purview, he is still, he's separated a little bit just because of responsibilities that he has up there.
And there's a cost share with the Scottsdale Unified School District that is a percentage amount that primarily the school district pays for those positions, reimburses us for the assignment. So there's a cost share at Scottsdale Unified, but up in Cave Creek, as you say, it's a granted position.
It is, and right now the school district shares with us my position and 9 of the officer positions. But in total, I've got 10 officers that are under my span of control.
Okay. So, Brian, perhaps you can tell us a little bit about your school and your assignment. You've been in the unit for a while now.
I've been going on 6 years now.
Yes, okay.
Yeah, so I'm at Tonalea K through 8. I also have 3 elementary schools that I oversee as well, but my office is based out of Tonalea.
And where's that school?
That is right on the Tempe border.
Okay.
It's at 68th Street and Continental.
Okay.
So we do have some students that are from Tempe, but mostly from Scottsdale. Since it is a younger demographic, my responsibilities, I'll let Nate talk about the high schools, but for the focus of the elementary schools is more on education that pertain to young people, like staying safe, walking home from school or walking to school, learning something as simple as your phone number, your address. These are all things that sometimes they're not learning, and maybe we can get out and teach them that. So that's one of the educational goals. And then, as always, community policing. I think that's the biggest thing that we do as a group. Is there's not another unit in the department, in my opinion, that does a better job of getting out and reaching out to the community than we do. Just because we see these, parents, grandparents, aunts, uncles that come to the school, we interact with them every day in a positive way. 99% of the time it's positive, whereas other units it may not be as positive of an interaction.
Yeah, so. I think a lot of people might be on the misconception that it's really about security and almost law enforcement, but it's really not. And certainly when you get the younger kids, it's not any part of that. Although if it happens, you're prepared to resolve any issues. But it's primarily being that resource and be part of the school community. And so finding out that you're a resource to the parents as much as you're a resource to the children, I think and the school population or the school administration, it's actually pretty cool when you think about that parents know, I know you, and my child knows you, I can go to you for some advice or some suggestions or some help. And that happens regularly. It
does, and it's a way for, some of the parents call me by my first name, and we get to know each other pretty well, and if they have questions that maybe something that happened to them, or their family members, they come to us on a personal level too. So it's good to get to know them that way.
Just so much trust and being able to build that trust with the community, or especially with a child, because of all the perceptions in media and lately in the last couple of years, law enforcement perception around the country. It's so nice to have that child be able to come to you if they're in trouble or they need help, and to build that trust with that child.
So
Absolutely.
Have you been at the same school for 6 years?
I was at Saguaro High School last year for the year, but then I came back. I love the community down south. So.
Cool. So if you take that 6 years and add to the oldest child in that school, they're over 18.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
So you've got some young adults out there who you've influenced. You get much contact with them, and they come back and say hello?
You know what, I actually do. I was at the Fashion Square Mall. I go there sometimes, and they'll be working in the food court or one of the stores, and they'll come up and say hi, give a hug, something like that.
That's cool.
It's great because we get to see the positive later on, which a lot of us in patrol don't get that, but we in the unit get to see them progress in their lives.
The impact that you guys make to the kids.
Which is what we want. All we want is them to be productive and good people.
Very cool. So Nate, you're at the high school level.
I am.
So
totally different.
Totally different, yeah, I expect so. So
been to a few high schools. It's kind of scary.
You went to high school.
No, that was a long time ago. I don't think it was like it is now. That was like a long time ago. They had gas lights when I went to the schools.
Okay, you're making me feel really old. Okay, so tell us a little about the differences. First of all, tell us a little bit about yourself, and then tell us a little bit about the differences of being a high school SRO versus being a middle school SRO.
Well, I've been at Desert Mountain High School this is my 4th year.
Okay.
And it's my first assignment within the school resource unit. It's exciting right now because now I'm seeing the freshmen who were there when I started at Desert Mountain matriculating up to their senior year and about to graduate. So I feel certain closeness to them, you know, because I've seen them grow so much over the last 4 years. And you know, it's one of the benefits of being on the school resource unit is that you're really part of a community. There are some enforcement sides that we tend to deal with a little more than maybe the middle school. But generally speaking, we're still doing a lot of mentoring as well as education. There's so many opportunities to come in to teach a kid. You know, students may be making some life decisions that aren't leading them in a good direction, to sit them down and say, hey, this is what this could end up being down the road. Let's not continue to make those choices. And sometimes they come back to me, and it's nice because you know, the parents and the students will come back and say, thank you. We're glad that you took that time to do that. So it's rewarding. And I think it's one of the reasons why people want to get into the school resource unit, because when we take that oath, we want to be police officers. We really want to help people. From my point of view, this is a great fit for me because it's an opportunity to actually help make that change and see real help as a police officer. So it's fulfilling that way.
You know, you can go through your life, certainly as a young person, and never have any contact with law enforcement. And so you have this opinion, and sometimes it's a feeling that you just can't approach police officers. And this is really an excellent opportunity for young folks to actually see officers in their environment, relaxed, casual, approachable, and I suspect that pays big dividends in their attitudes towards law enforcement as they become young adults.
It does.
Well, it's kind of cool to see what positive impact you have on that freshman who is now a senior, and you know, watch them grow, because the officers on the street don't get that gratification when they intervene, and they intervene a lot and help a lot of people, but they don't get to see the fruit of their labor, because then it's over and they're on to the next call, where you guys have a chance to watch the kids grow and be productive adults, which is awesome.
So you, so then you've also been there 4 years. You've got some young adults out there that you've had contacts with. So have you had some positive interactions on the street with them as they've grown older? Some of them are getting through college, I guess, at this point, right? Graduating college.
I mean, I do get students. Maybe I'll be working an event outside of campus, and people will come up and say hi and thank you, and that's very rewarding. It makes me know that what I'm doing is actually having an effect, because otherwise you wouldn't always get that closure.
Right. And some of this, and it's the unfortunate side of the business that we're in, but some of this I suspect is an opportunity to get information about things that may be happening in the community of concern, and actually perhaps prevent something, or at the very least minimize something, or bring something to closure quicker, because you're a resource and people feel comfortable talking to you. And so I think that's probably a huge benefit that impacts the community, you know, beyond your role as a school liaison officer. And you mentioned you have some role in the community. So tell us a little bit about that.
Well, it's interesting you bring that up. We'll have students come and they maybe had an interaction with law enforcement outside of the school. They'll come to me and ask me questions about the situation, maybe ways they could have dealt with it as an individual differently, and so there's that opportunity to educate.
Cool. Brian, you were going to say something?
Yeah, well, I'm going to let Sergeant O'Meara talk about the restorative justice, but like when we deal with families and with the kids, and the kids at the elementary school are a wealth of information. Their families, we speak with them, and they I'm losing my train of thought.
Share problems that they have in the family or
they,
something.
They do.
And they're looking for help and they don't know where to turn, correct?
A lot of times that is the case, and you know, if there's maybe detectives that hey, this happened last night, they'll call us up, and we can transfer that and say, hey, to the counselor at the school, hey, this happened at the home last night. Can we check in with this child?
Perfect.
and it's a big help to the family that way.
Absolutely.
That must be huge, I can imagine.
I'm sure you guys have prevented many things or helped in a situation where a situation is out of control at a home. There's a drinking or a drug or an abuse problem. So I'm sure you've seen the gamut from the very minor to the very major. That, and I know PCIS, we have had that on our show. I'm sure that they work very closely with you as well, our crisis intervention folks, because they're all over the map. I mean, they are such a great resource. So I'm sure that you rely on them as much as they rely on you.
It's true, and the other partnership that we've really developed over the years is with our Youth and Family Services departments.
For the city?
For the city, and they've been a tremendous asset for us, and that's one of the things that I've really taken great pride in, is getting to know the staff over there and what they offer us, because it's tremendous, and the resources that they have available is really something to where we don't always hear about or know about it. It's always behind the scene kind of things, that the work that they do, but it's that work that they do that's really, we're hoping to see the long-term effects of helping these kids once we get them into that referral, that the long-term effects that we hope to see as they become young adults. You know, what I'm very proud of with these officers, and they're being very modest right now, but they take so many roles with the students. Whether it be playing basketball, helping out with homework, whether it be Officer Nate Herbert plays the bagpipes and is always invited to talent shows and opens up the show for them. There's a lot of things that we're involved in, where I've got officers that do guitar lessons on campus, things of that nature, to where it's really truly an opportunity for them to be known as an individual and not just by the uniform. And that's really what's important, building that long-term lasting relationship
And
to where
trust.
where when they see them later off campus, they have that comfortability to be able to go up to that officer and say hi, or give them a hug or a high five. And that's
Or
been
be able to come in and say, hey, I've been
Exactly.
abused, or my boyfriend did this to me, especially in high school or something. What do I do?
Yep.
Because they don't want to tell a parent, and they don't want to tell a counselor, and you know, you become their big brother or a father figure. I mean, that is like so important.
And I've been very impressed. I've been in, you know, just where I've been on campus and see a student come in and say, hey, I've got this family dynamic going on. What do you suggest? What kind of help? Or the police did show up last night. Is this normal? What else could I have done? So it's very good to see them have those kind of interactions and conversations.
That means it's successful.
Yes. Let's talk about a little bit about the interactions you have with the street officer, because I think that's critical, that communication of what's happening in the schools and what's happening in the streets, so the community can be safe. So tell us how that works, that liaison program.
So what it is we recognized early on is that we're always trying to find ways of having a greater presence in the schools. But we are super busy. The one thing that we are not lacking is work within the schools. And so we really wanted to make sure that we still had an adequate presence in the elementary schools in particular. And so what we wanted to do was train those officers that are going to, maybe have an interest in the unit in the future, so as a career development opportunity to get them trained up in what we do as responsibilities, but also to have them there as a resource. We usually, you know, our shifts, we usually go home by 3:30 or 4 o'clock. My squad is home. That's not to say after school programs, the team programs, things that happen in our parks, or things like that, to where patrol officers will still have contact with these kids. And so it's been a great program and resource to have other officers at other shifts have that knowledge of what they can do, resources they can reach out to, our phone numbers. We get phone calls all the time to where we can help out patrol, even on the off days and the weekends. So just to have that resource available to the patrol guys has been great. And then just the sharing of information. Because the reality is what's happening in the public is happening in the schools.
Right.
And so it's a great contact for us to stay abreast about what's going on for crime trends, things of that nature in the neighborhoods and the communities, and vice versa, so that we will hopefully never be caught by surprise on an issue that started outside of campus where it may come onto campus, or vice versa. One of the things that I'm very proud of as well is there's been a lot of private schools that have been starting to come into Scottsdale, and to where they've been hiring us for off-duty positions. Well, we've gotten those officers trained up as well from the school liaison officer program, to where now we also have that consistency of police services that's happening. So regardless of the school that you may be at, when a patrol officer shows up, it's always our goal that you're going to receive the same level of service and the consistency. It's been very important to us as well.
And there's that free-flowing information that's going back and forth between the schools and the community officers that, once again, benefits everybody involved, keeps the schools environment safe and keeps the street environment safe.
Yes.
So we really appreciate that, Brian.
And Sergeant O'Meara touched on it a little bit, but you know, just a good example would be at least a couple times a month there'd be a child that doesn't come home at night when they should, or parents don't know where they're at, and you know, we have the cell phone numbers of patrol and they have ours, and they call us, and then we'll call the administration from the school, and it's a team effort to locate a kid, and you know, it expedites the process, you know, so much. It's a big help.
Very good.
Yep.
So relationships with school administrators, because that's another level yet.
Sure. Yes.
Another partnership.
Absolutely. And so tell us a little about how you work that, because different schools work different ways, I'm sure, but tell us a little bit about the challenges of the relationship and how that works.
Well, every school seems to have its own personality. I personally, I love working with my administration at Desert Mountain, and there just has to be mutual respect. Mutual respect for, you know, they respect that police have their own procedure and policies, and we, vice versa, respect that the districts have their own policies and procedures. And you know, a lot of times we're helpful to them and they to us, so we've worked very well together. So once we understand that partnership, and you know, we're working, I think we're working with very professional people, you know, both the administrators, the teachers, and you know, it's something where until I was in the schools, I was a little bit oblivious as to just how professional those people were. And once you respect that and you return that respect to those people, then they turn that respect to you. And so we work pretty well together.
That's good to hear.
Yeah.
And that's what I hear over and over again from all the SROs is that schools are different, have different personalities, but there's definitely a working relationship. And we always maintain that the best working relationship is if the administration sees you as part of their team, as opposed to you're just somebody that works
Enforcer.
there.
Yeah.
And so I think that's probably the theme that we have with the majority of the school system employees that we work with, is that we're just seen as part of that membership.
There's
of the team.
always going to be skepticism between, okay, so what are you going to do, and what are your rights, and what are my rights as an officer? And I'm sure that that's something that you all work out in partnership with, and again with the trust issues.
Right.
And I'm sure when they see some of the things that you guys do, I'm sure that was like, hey, that was pretty cool. We couldn't have done that without you, and I'm sure there's
It's,
things you can't do without them.
It is, and
Yeah.
it's very much a collaboration and effort. And really the key component is the communication on my side with my officers, to where they have clear expectations, and working with the administration and vice versa. But I would say the most challenging part of my job is just maintaining that communication line, because there are subtleties within our investigations where we can't always share information or things that we need to do to where it may be contrary to what they would like to see done. But because we have that strong relationship, there's an understanding there's a trust and understanding that at the end of the day, both entities, the administration does have the same goal in mind, and that's the safety of the campus and the
Takes
welfare.
a little
the
different
welfare
path
of the
sometimes
students.
to
Yep.
get back to the middle.
Yeah, but we've been very blessed with working with the administration that we have, and again, as
Absolutely.
the officers have said, there's a lot of mutual respect and trust that goes within that.
So we've heard a new term, and it's a program we've been working on recently, and just, I guess, really has started to evolve, and that's restorative justice.
Yes, sir.
And so explain that a little bit to our viewers.
Sure. So what we've been very blessed in that we are a pilot program for Maricopa County, and it's called the Restorative Justice Intervention Program. And what we recognized before my time on the unit is we recognized the need to provide intervention on a juvenile for maybe they have the first time whoops to where they do a criminal violation, to where we recognized the need to hold them accountable, but not necessarily have to put them in the criminal justice system to where an arrest record is generated. And so there's a lot of collaboration between ourselves, the county attorney's office, youth and family services, our city prosecutor's office, and others as well, to where we developed this program for first-time offenders between the age of 10 and 17 years old, for status offenses, nonviolent misdemeanors, and some other more serious offenses, to where if they meet that criteria as first-time offenders, then we do a direct referral with youth and family services. What we love about it is that in working with them, there's still a great level of accountability, so there's still some punishment side to it. But Youth and Family Services has an opportunity to look at the family holistically, to where they see, even though maybe we have a vaping violation, but what are the dynamics within that house? What led to that behavior? What fixes can we put in place? Maybe there's other needs that family has. Maybe there's other needs that the siblings have within that family, to where it's an opportunity not only to address that violation, but to also provide early early intervention in the hopes that we don't have future problems with that.
And giving somebody a second chance.
And giving somebody a second chance. The reality of it is that more and more colleges, the military, jobs are doing greater background checks to where that one whoops of a criminal violation could really ruin your life, or that scholarship opportunity, or the position you want in the military, to where, again, this gives them that one whoops to hopefully be held accountable, learn from it, but then not have it follow them for the rest of their lives.
Which is really the philosophy of the juvenile justice system. It was created to start with, was to treat young folks to correct behavior as opposed to looking for punishment. And again, we're talking about minor offenses, and we're talking about status offenses, which are only offenses because they're under the age of 18.
Yes.
So that's really, I'm really kind of excited about this. We've been looking forward to this, and the fact that you guys are on the front line on this issue is makes me feel very comfortable.
Yes. It's been very rewarding to be
hear
part
it.
of this program.
Yeah, so thank you guys so much. Brian, you want to add something?
And I was going to say, another thing was just how quick the process is. You know, a lot of times you cite somebody into court or to county, it takes months, if not longer, for them to get a consequence. And we're talking about kids whose attention span maybe isn't the best, so a quicker adjudication would be the best route, so they see a consequence right away.
That's huge, because you want to see consequences
And
by way of behavior.
And it's been another avenue of providing, again, that trust, the conversation with the parents, saying we've got this program. The parents have fallen in love with the program as well, because they see, again, another way for us to reach out to the public and build that trust.
Perfect.
Well, congratulations on
We
the
can
fact
talk
that
about so many other things with this group, but we're running out of time.
Okay, well, we really appreciate you guys being
Thank
here.
you
This
so
is really
much.
a lot of
Thank
people
you.
that don't
Thanks for having us.
understand the SRO program, I think, will have a better grasp of it. And the people that, in fact, have kids in schools have learned something perhaps today, and they know that you're an additional resource they can reach out to. So thank you guys for being here, and it's absolutely a pleasure having you here.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you. Well, that's another month's program. Look forward to, it's going to start getting hot, right? We're getting through the.
It's already hot. It's
already hot,
February.
yeah. The snakes are out, so I would tell you, we've seen snakes around the ranch. So
Oh, that's right, you told me
please, yeah,
that.
please be careful out there, because they're coming out angry and
Hungry.
and aggressive.
You told me hungry.
Yeah, and hungry. So once again, thank you all for joining us. We really appreciate you spending time with us, and hope to see you again soon. Until then, be safe. Thank you.